See, in a sense, pro-peace had a structure, at least. I mean, they had a way of doing things. We had to start, I mean, from scratch, not only money, but just who does what and what needs to be done. I mean, they left us with, there was Zippo.
Can I ask who the meeting is? I mean, are these facilitators, or is this an ad hoc meeting of people concerned about X, Y, Z?
We won't meet in here. Because there's a meeting here.
Are we having this meeting or not?
Get back on.
And who's having it?
All right, we're meeting to discuss our next meeting.
You look in that tent there and my reaction, shit, I gotta cross over 15 pairs of legs to become part of this meeting, and I say, out of hell with it, and I go.
For a decision-making body among this march that would enable this march to become more self-sufficient and more self-directed.
Intended to democratize the march in the most extreme.
Another part of that motion was that we do not empower this board to enact that structure without the approval of the facilitators, and if the facilitators ask for it, approval of the city.
I'm not being clear because I'm not completely clear on it.
There are people that want to use Robert's rules, there are people that want to use consensus, and there are people that want to use parliamentary procedure.
We should have a sergeant march, and we should ask.
No.
Wait.
Yes.
Might I suggest that it be a co-facilitator so that...
I make a motion to change facilitators. Do I have a second?
Second.
All we ever seem to do is meet or set up meetings.
Next on the agenda is to set an agenda.
We don't need to necessarily have an agenda.
Is that agreed? Yes. Okay. Very sorry. 5 hours of meetings is enough for me for one day.
We discuss and we discuss and we discuss. I think we should try to set
as much of an understanding as there is, I think, of what has been happening in the process, realize that the process has a lot of
What happened in Barstow was really a miracle. In only 14 days of meetings around the clock, we managed to make up a whole new structure for the march.
A city council with elected representatives, a board of directors, a judicial board to handle personal disputes, and an operations council to coordinate logistics.
Well, it was kind of funny. The organization that remained was one that was kind of anti-authoritarian, and it didn't tolerate too much leadership.
Now that we're more grassroots, we started getting all kinds of donations of equipment and supplies. The people really came through for us. We got a refrigerator truck, water truck, waste disposal truck. I mean, just all this kind of stuff, and it was up to us to put it together and make it work.
I think people got the feeling they could do anything. There were all these things that had to be done, and so people just got together and did them.
I worked the breakfast shift. That meant getting up at 3 a.m. and cooking for 500 to 1,000 people.
When the march left in the morning, about 100 people stayed behind to work.
Somebody had to volunteer for this job of pulling these porta potties. And that's what I came on the march for, because I can't walk.
I worked with preschool children. Parents would leave their children with us before going on the march. Sometimes we did activities on the school buses, and sometimes the kids got to go on field trips.
I worked a couple of days a week on the loading crew, loading up the gear onto the trucks. I never worked so hard in my life, and I never wanted to work so hard.
We had a maintenance crew, which was fortunate because things were always breaking down. They were a pretty wild bunch, but they really kept the march together.
We tried to keep track of as much as we could on computers, which was great until a generator would break down and dump your whole program.
When the march arrived at the next campsite, there was always plenty to do.
The mail holds a lot of things together here on the march, actually. For instance, the lives of the people. Who are back in the other part of the country. The lives of the people who are out here in the dust. See our weather resistant. Homing pigeons can't nest. Mail slide, although this thing's seen some bad days.
Besides trying to mooch a shower from someone or find a laundromat, there were always plays and festivals and sports to do.
People went to bars, cafes, mingled with locals. Of course, someone had to stay home and cook dinner.
At night we had educational talks, concerts, videos, but with limited electricity and getting up at dawn, camp got pretty quiet by about 10 o'clock.
It will give us a chance to encourage and pressure the administration in Washington to negotiate on the basis of the Gorbachev proposals, which could end nuclear weapons in the world by the year 2000.
A few reasons. For peace, that's one reason. Second reason is to see Ronald Reagan's house.
Just an ordinary person doing something that feels good. I really wanted to walk with Martin Luther King, and I didn't have a chance. It's like, I could do it now. So I did get another chance.
I need the publicity. What do you mean, why?
I was so turned on by the people-to-people approach to solving peace that I thought I couldn't do anything better than to go under the Great Peace March.
I'm excited that I'm more on the trail to my inner peace than ever before, you know. Haven't really touched that nerve. And hell, when I started the march, I thought, oh, I'll just walk across the country. That'd be cool. I wasn't thinking about Vietnam.
If they were just to stop making half those bombs, they could feed all the poor people. There's a lot of people that are hungry and malnourished and are homeless, you know.
We are here really from a religious point of view, I guess you would say, rather than political or philosophical.
I want to have all kinds of kids, and I want to have all kinds of grandkids, and I want to be remembered. And if there was a nuclear war, none of that would happen. Everything would be shattered, oblivion complete. It'd be a living hell.
I have a kid, and I've seen all the children we walk past. You look at their faces, and they're children, and they need a world that doesn't have conflict just for the sake of conflict. And nuclear weapons are tools made by old men who think that that is how they're going to settle conflicts, is by waving wands at one another. And you don't settle things by waving wands. You have to talk.
Yeah, I know. We'll get the world after the adults of today do. And we want to keep the world, you know, so that we can get something besides just a big clump of radiation.
The Soviet and the USA got bombs that could blow up the whole world. And they could probably blow up the whole universe. I'm not scared. No, you'll be killed by the radiation. You're not scared. You're not scared to see everybody, like, everywhere just go, bleh. Not until it happens. Well, it's scary because, like, you're here and then you're not here. Yeah. Well, you die instantly. Yeah.
Not always. Like if you're in your house or something and your house just gets burned. Like you get burned really bad, your face, and then there's nobody there to help you. You just you are, yeah. You're in pain. Yeah. And then you do die. Well, sometimes you don't.
I wish Reagan would have a talk with the USSR, the government of it, so they wouldn't have any bombs. They could talk it over. It would be a lot better.
Governments could spend a lot of money on a lot of better things than bombs.